NBC Sport presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference. Brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Hertz, where the winners rent. By Chrysler Corporation. See the mileage makers at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers. And by Radio Shack, the nationwide supermarket of sound.
Back in Atlanta, this is Don Criqui with John Brody. We're about ready to tee it up and get after it as the Atlanta Falcons, who won 2 straight games on the road, break onto the field. There are the Broncos as they leave coach Red Miller. Normally the Falcons wear red at home, but they've had good luck in the white on the road, winning their first 2, and so they're going to stay with it. Lehman Bennett is the man who leads the Atlanta Falcons. They believe in this man, and he is the guy, quiet as he is, who fires up this team. They play as aggressively as anybody in the league, I think, John.
I don't think you can doubt that. They also play as effectively on occasion. They're going to be tested today by Denver. That's the reason Norris Weiss is starting on offense for them. They feel that he can get outside the blitzes and several different defensive coverages that Lehman Bennett exposes, and we'll be able to see in just a few minutes.
They're the deep men now as the Broncos will receive to start the game. Otis Armstrong, 24, the deep man in a 3-man formation. And there's the master mixologist, Tim Mazzetti. The boot and bartender. They love him in Atlanta as he's got the ball teed up. He's into it. The football game is underway. Mazzetti hits it well. On the far side, Bernard Jackson fields the football for Denver. Comes across the 15, and there's the good Dakin comes up, number 58, a Georgia Tech linebacker. Joel Williams is also on the play. Joel Williams leads the way, and so it'll be 1st and 10 now for the Denver Broncos as they move the ball out to their 12-yard line. Special teams played good for Atlanta.
Mentioned already, Norris Weiss is doing the starting. 2 newcomers, Dave Preston and Jim Jensen, the running backs. Rick Upchurch, their big play man out wide. Riley Odom's a mainstay with Haven Moses the same.
Dave Preston and Jim Jensen in the backfield for Denver. Norris Weiss at quarterback. He sent 2 wide receivers out to the left side. And a first down from the 12. They go to Jensen, a big power back from University of Iowa, originally drafted by Dallas in the 2nd round. He's a 230-pound back. Didn't get too much there, John.
And this will be the key for Denver because they are a conservative team. They're going to have to rely on these fellas to get them out of holes. Dave Studdard is a fellow that's having a good year all of a sudden. Glassick's doing better than he ever did. They think they've got a stronger offensive line, and that's the reason they'll be a better offensive team.
David Studdard, the left tackle, is quite a story. Comes from the University of Texas, was cut last year by Baltimore. Now he's come as a free agent to Denver. They like free agents there. 7 of them start. And they think Studdard's not only going to be a starter, but a star. Here is Preston, a hard running back out of Bowling Green. He, too, a free agent in this Denver starting lineup. Brazina, the oldest player on the Atlanta team at 33, made the hit from the outside. Going to be 3rd and about 5 now as we look at the Atlanta front 4. Jeff Yates, you don't hear much about him, but he's solid at left end. Mike Lewis has come in to start for Wilson Famuina, who went out with a shoulder injury. Edgar Fields also in the starting lineup, and Don Smith, the rookie number 1 draft choice from Miami of Florida, is at right end. He's a good pass rusher. Kuykendall, they say he's the best at left linebacker. Pennewell's in the middle, and Greg Brazina on the right side. 3rd down and a long 3, they're going to call it now. They go to Preston, and he gets ahead for a first down, and Preston's not done yet as he takes the ball over the 25-yard line out to the 29.
I'll tell you, the indicative thing to me is twice they've run to the right over Paul Howard and Claudie Miner, whom they feel are their 2 strongest offensive linemen. They've run over against what they think is the weakest side of the Atlanta defense. Mike Lewis is in there, pretty good against the run. They just blew him out.
The secondary for Atlanta, Rollin Lawrence and Rick Pius are at the corners. Frank Reed and Ray Easterling are the safeties. As the Denver Broncos convert a 3rd and 3rd. Denver comes into the game averaging over 4 yards a rush. Atlanta's averaging 5 yards a run. A big improvement from a year ago when the Falcons were 27th in the NFL out of 28 teams in rushing. Back to the run go the Denver Broncos. They don't like to throw in their end of the field. Red Miller likes to be conservative until he gets it across midfield at least. Don Smith and Kuykendall hit John Keyworth. Broncos will go with 5 backs, most of them big, John.
Well, they'll go with 5 backs. offensively because they feel they have 5 backs, Don. It's not because their structure is designed that way. When you've got fellas like Otis Armstrong and Rob Lytle, you've got to play them. They've had Preston and Jensen come on strong, and that's why they use so many.
Right now, they've gone to the run every play. They have a 2nd down and 7 coming up. Does Denver from the 31-yard line. Weiss is going to let it rip. He's got a man going deep. Now he's going to run it out. Breaks free and gets yardage, and Norris Weiss gets all the way out to the 40-yard line. And when it seemed he was trapped, that elusiveness you talked about, John, at the outset, demonstrated he gets a 1st down.
Well, that time he was trying to go to Upchurch. However, Upchurch was in the middle of his pattern when Weiss was back looking for him. The protection was excellent. However, Smith got to him from the outside. Weiss had to dip underneath. Pennywell's trying to make the stop. This is the exact reason he's in the ball game. However, this is not what he would like to happen very often during the day.
He was looking to go deep. He had Upchurch running the long pattern. Right now it's 1st and 10, the 2nd consecutive 1st down in this drive now for Denver. You'll recall they started at their 12 after the opening kickoff. Well, just across the Broncos 40, here is Keyworth, a Colorado fullback, turning wide to the right. And the pursuit, which is highlighted. Atlanta's defensive play is in evidence again. Kuykendall, UCLA linebacker, 54, come across, made the hit.
I think part of Atlanta's personality, and you'll hear a lot of Kuykendall, you'll hear a lot of Berzina, you'll hear a lot of Pennywell, and I think the reason you will is because they feel they're their best athletes. They try to put them in the action as much as they can. They take a lot of chances that some defenses won't. They feel they have to.
Baltimore has just gone out in front of Cleveland 7-0. Larry Brazel blocked the punt, recovered it for a touchdown. A loss on the play makes it 2nd down and 12 now for the Broncos. Again, they have the 2 wide receivers aligned to the left. Weiss with a deep drop. A blitz is coming, and Denver picks it up nicely. But Norris Weiss comes in high. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down and 12. Greg Brazina, number 50, who led the Atlanta Falcons in sacks with 10 last year, even though he's a linebacker, came.
Norris Weiss was given ample time. However, time is not always the answer. The secondary played their people like a blanket. Weiss threw this ball away. It may not look like it here, but there was a lot of room down the field. He just threw it over their heads. Haven Moses trying to get open across the middle on a crossing pattern. They take a little longer to develop. Pennywell's in perfect position. He's got to throw it where he did.
What do you look for here now?
I don't know. I'd like to have something that gains 13 yards, but I haven't been in their research. He'll throw it somewhere.
3rd down and long. Norris Weiss pumps long. Man is wide out there, and that is Upchurch with the ball, the reception, and a 1st down for the Broncos. So,
all right. I think this play epitomizes the style of Atlanta as well as anything. They're in a blitz. They're all coming. When they do, the cornerbacks, who look like you can't even find the man that's covering Upchurch. However, on a safety blitz, Bias has to stay inside and also deep, taking away the middle. Well, okay, if they're going to do that, what does we say? He says, hey, we're going to the outside. A perfect play against the safety blitz, and they pick up a 1st down.
Another 1st down in this drive. So the Broncos are moving the football very nicely. They've not played in over a week and a half. You recall their last time out was against the Rams in a Thursday night game. They lost it 13-9, 14-9. And now as they bring the ball inside the 40-yard line down to the 37, there's going to be an assessed pickup on the play of pretty close to 4 yards. Preston's a good, hard running back. Originally drafted by New England, low draft choice. He was cut, came to Denver, made the football team, became a starter. 11 free agents are on this Bronco roster of 45.
All of them playing quite a bit.
They are. 7 of them start. 2nd down and a long 7 now for the Broncos. Preston turns upfield as again the Denver offensive line moves it out. They pull those big guards out, Glassick and Howard.
You mentioned their offensive line, Donnie. I'll tell you, what's impressive to me is look how well the right side gets off on the ball. There's no penetration. It allows Preston to go back, dip underneath, wait till he finds the opening. When he does, zip up in the hole, get his shoulders square, and pick up about 8 yards. If he can do that throughout the afternoon, Atlanta's going to see the ball very seldom.
That is right. They've not seen it at all now, except coming right up the gut at them. Glassick, left guard from Virginia, made the big play there, turning out on the cornerback Rollin Lawrence, and Preston read that key, cut back inside. Now they're going to measure for another 1st down. Just short of it. This is what those quarterbacks like, don't they, John?
It might be better than a 1st down. Second and short, I think, is the most indicative down in football. When you find a football team that's getting a lot of second and shorts, you find one that's scoring a lot of points.
Well, Lehman Bennett was saying last year our problem was we couldn't convert 3rd and 1. This year we're averaging 5 yards a rush. We haven't needed 3rd down too much. Norris Weiss calls number 14 his own number, and he goes ahead behind his center. Bill Bryan gets the first down. So the Broncos impressive off this opening sequence, taking their opening kickoff. They didn't get that back far, only to their 12. They've driven the ball downfield primarily with the run, the one big pass to Upchurch, and now the ball is down to the 27-yard line of Atlanta. There's no score in the first quarter. 8:58 to play in it. Again, the two wide receivers come out wide to the left. They got the game breakers out there. Upchurch is way out to the left. And the Atlanta cornerback showing him respect, playing way off him. Back now, here's the pitch back to Keyworth. Alan Lawrence, he's not big, but he can hit. Makes the sack on 230-pound John Keyworth.
They just guessed wrong. Atlanta guessed right. They stopped the play for no gain. Weiss will do a little bit of that, but so far in this drive, what's impressed me most is his ability to throw the ball and the ability of his offensive line to move people back. They won't need this option play very often if they keep moving the ball up front the way they have been during this drive.
Our referee today is Jerry Seaman, umpire Frank Sinkovitz, headlinesman Gil Mason. Here's Jerry Seaman.
Illegal formation, offense, line of scrimmage, decline.
The hit by Ronald Lawrence was for a loss, so Falcons will take the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 12. While just inside the 30-yard line of Atlanta. The rest of that officiating crew, the line judge is Bob McElwee, back judge Al Jury, side judge Dick Ferguson, field judge Bill O'Brien. It's 2nd down and 12 now for Denver. They start to mount a challenge here in the first quarter on their first possession. Weiss with a deep drop, looks over the middle, lets a rip. Man is out there. Riley Odoms, his tight end, can't get to the ball.
Weiss is back in the pocket stomping his feet. He knows very seldom do you get a man like Riley Odoms open in the end zone with only one man on you, and he had the inside angle on the defender. Once you've got that inside angle, it's very difficult for anybody to take the ball away from you. All you have to do is lay it out in front of them. He threw it a little high, and they come back and start all over.
Riley Odoms is a football player. He looks more like an offensive tackle, but he can run and he can catch it. Caught 54 last year to lead the Broncos. Now another 3rd down for Weiss. You'll recall he went to Upchurch long the last time he had this play. Now he's down closer. 3rd and almost 13. No score in the first quarter. Blitz, here it comes. They elude it. And the swing pass is out. Keyworth has the ball, and John Keyworth dives inside the 15-yard line. And again, the Broncos convert 3rd down. They get a 1st down.
Excellent play. They only rushed 4 players that time. When they do that, their defensive backs can get, and linebackers can get a deep drop. Now, Weiss takes a while. As he's trying to avert the rush, he's looking for anybody in a red jersey. Happens to pick out Keyworth. Keyworth is the man to be recognized for making a good play, getting in a position where Weiss can find him. Simple little throw, and they pick up a 1st.
Weiss calling a nice game, executing a nice game. A lot of the plays coming from the sideline. They're sent in as they alternate wide receivers. They're showing the Atlanta defense a lot. Variety. Now they go to Preston, straight ahead carry, and Dave Preston's down to the 10-yard line. So the Denver Broncos, and you remember this drive started at their 12, take it right down the field against the Atlanta defense. With 7:32 left to play in the first period, there's still no score. But we could have one soon the way Denver's moving the football, John.
Well, when you control the ball for close to 8 minutes on one drive, and they'll do at least that, they may take it as long as 10. They are not known for maintaining ball control offensively, but they are at this time winning the game in the line.
On 2nd and 6, Preston. Oh, Weiss calls his own number, and now Weiss takes it into the end zone. Great football play. The whole Atlanta defense went with Preston, and Norris Weiss shows a new twist and takes it right on in.
And the important thing is that the pursuit went toward Preston. He made the play happen. The offensive back in a fake particularly a quarterback sneak, usually makes the play happen. Nobody knew he had the ball or didn't have the ball. Look at Kuykendall. He's standing over there trying to get a piece of Preston, and Weiss is almost already in the end zone. That's the way plays are made. Beautiful drive, the longest of the season for Denver.
That's right, it was. The Denver Broncos take the ball 88 yards down the field on the opening drive. And now Jim Turner will try the point after, and he nails that. So right now, with 6:59 left to play in the first period, it is the Denver Broncos 7, the Atlanta Falcons nothing. With John Brody, this is Don Criqui back at Atlanta, Georgia. There is Dennis Pearson, the ace return man for the Atlanta Falcons, as he's back now inside his 5-yard line. Down the field went the Denver Broncos after the opening kickoff. Norris Weiss taking it on a quarterback keep, round end, and the first points are up. 7-0 Denver. Dennis Pearson rips up the middle. And this little back, 170 pounds from San Diego State, advances it across the 20, close to the 24. Ron Egloff off the bottom of the pile on special teams for Denver.
I think right now it's critical. Steve Bartkowski has got to get the ball moving. There's 6:51 left. They haven't even had possession. Bill Andrews has been the story around the National Football League. I think he's got 200-yard plus games in 2 weeks. I think this will be his biggest test. He's played teams that were mediocre defenses. He's playing a great defense right now as we've got an injured man on the field. He's playing a great defense, and if he wants a test in his 3rd week of the NFL play, he's going to get it.
He is. William Andrews was a 3rd-round draft choice out of Auburn. They got 2 backs in the 3rd round, Mayberry from Colorado and Andrews, who was used primarily to block at Auburn. His first game against New Orleans, he ran for 167 yards. Tony Dakin, a special teams player, shaken up on the kickoff blocking for Atlanta. Last week he had 121 more last Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles, so he's over 300 in his first 2 games, and he wants to become the first NFL back ever to get 100 yards or more in his first 3 games.
Okay, there's Wallace Francis. Jim Mitchell's been a top tight end in the NFL for several years. He's not being used as much as he has been in the past. However, he is still a good one.
Right now there is a timeout on the field with the score, the Denver Broncos 7, the Atlanta Falcons nothing, as Tony Dakin comes off. Back at Atlanta, the Falcons break the huddle to go on offense, 1st and 10. This is Don Criqui with John Brody. First quarter. And the Denver Broncos went 88 yards after the opening kickoff, took it into the end zone with their quarterback Norris Weiss on the payoff end, and it's a 7-0 game. This is Atlanta's first play from scrimmage. And they go to the money back, Andrews. And he gets out across the 25, got about 3, maybe 4, close to the 28. Atlanta's game plan on offense usually is not very complicated. They'll take one defensive player, a defensive lineman, and go after him. Last Monday night they went against Stan Walters, tackle for Philadelphia.
In that offensive line, Jeff Van Note has more experience than the rest of the offensive line put together. This is Pat Howell's first start. They think it's a good young one. It's definitely a young one.
It's 2nd down and 6 now. They might be looking at Bryson Manor. Here they go on the draw play. Running straight ahead of the football with Andrews, and he is out to the 39-yard line.
That's the sort of play we were talking about, Don, that Atlanta has to get on the board early with to keep control of the ball, give the offense a chance to warm up. They didn't get their hands on it for 8 minutes. When people wonder why Bill Andrews is rather exciting, this is a pretty good indicator. He's past the line of scrimmage before anybody even sees him.
He really accelerates to the hole.
Not a very big one either. Not a very big hole. He made the proper move at the right time, and they've got a first down and moving.
Bernard Jackson comes up and hits him from the free safety, but it is a first down for Atlanta. The ball out to the 39. Right back to the run. This time Bubba Bean gets the call, and there's lots of Broncos there to knock him down. He's hit down at about the 42-yard line. Gain of less than 3. Andrews, they say, has great acceleration when he does see an opening, and he's also strong. He's not that big, 6 feet 200, but he'll punish tacklers. There's the defensive line. Latimer in the middle guard position, replacing injured Reuben Carter. Barney Chavis, a veteran and reliable at left end. Bryson Manor, the guy who replaced Lyle Alzado, the right end. And there's some good linebackers. The best 53 Gradishar consensus All-Pro. In fact, was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 3 polls. And right now, the Broncos are all there. Latimer wants a little bit more of William Andrews, and the blue allows.
Big Don getting his first start for a while. When you replace a Reuben Carter with Don Latimer, it just exposes how much depth is in that Denver defensive line. Latimer's been getting a lot of playing time. He hasn't started. He wants to help his group. He certainly aroused Atlanta.
Latimer shedding the block and then meeting William Andrews head on, knocks him back. So now it's going to be 3rd and a long 5 for the Falcons. Ball just short of their 44-yard line. Bartkowski got the strong arm, lets her rip, first down. And Wallace Francis moves inside the 40. Well thrown ball.
I think the hardest ball to throw, Don, is the ball that you're moving to your left on. You've got to stop and turn around and throw it back against the grain. The primary receivers were handled. Bartkowski seems to have picked up something in the way of footwork. He never used to be very swift that way. And he's throwing to a man, Wallace Francis, who might be the most underrated football player in the game today. Caught 33 balls in preseason. He'll probably catch a lot this week.
They say the return to the lineup of Alfred Jenkins has helped him because you've got to double up on Jenkins. Right now, Francis is at the top of your screen. At 1st and 10, the give goes straight ahead. And the Broncos fill the gap very quickly, make the knockdown before the ball's advanced to the 37. Barney Chavis, 79 off the bottom. Gradishar, you'll call his number all day long, 53. Larry Evans is starting also. The secondary for the Broncos, Louis Wright, consensus all-pro at the left corner. Steve Foley gets a lot of work because Wright's so good at the right corner. Thompson and Jackson in the deep. 2nd down and 8. 7-0. Denver Broncos lead the game. We've got 2:50 left to play in the first quarter. Andrews, and they're looking for 31, and that Denver defense knocked down, lost maybe of 2 yards on the play, John. Take a look at Billy Andrews working.
It's not too hard to find him. It's pretty hard to handle him. This is the same play going to the left that he ran effectively going to the right. Little draw play, little roll fake rollout by Bartkowski. This time no one was fooled.
William Andrews, the second player drafted in the 3rd round, the second runner. James Mayberry was also picked in the 4th round. They went for fullback Lynn Kane from Southern California.
All 3 of them good.
They've all been very pleasant surprises, particularly Andrews. I thought he was a blocker until they gave him the ball. Bartkowski guns it. It's another completion to Wallace Francis. He's inside the 20 and not done yet as Wallace Francis is down to the 6-yard line. So Steve Bartkowski displaying the form that made him the #1 draft choice in the entire NFL in 1975.
And another impressive thing, if we get a chance to see it, Bill Andrews was down by the goal line throwing a block for Francis after he had run with it some. Coming out of the other side of your picture, there he is. There's Andrews. When you come back and start helping your teammates like that, all your pals look at that in the movie on Monday, and they're out to help you all they can. Well thrown ball. Excellent reception by Francis, and they've got it down on the 6-yard line. Wallace Francis.
He came here in 75 in a trade from Buffalo. He's got 71 passes in the last 2 years, 45 last season.
He's the one that got John Gilliam cut. Now, Gilliam was a great player.
Bubba Bean going in motion, 44. Give up the middle, and there is nothing there. The Orange Crush shuts it down. So that's going to bring up 2nd and goal now as the ball is advanced close to the 5-yard line. It's a 7-0 game, Denver. The Broncos with their defensive unit out now went 88 yards their first possession as we wind down inside a minute to play in the first quarter.
How many times have you seen the quarter over, each team having the ball only once? I have seen it very rarely, and not in the past 6 years.
That is unusual. There's going to be a lot of running in this game because that's what they go with. And they both look for those defenses to come up with the eventual turnover that could change a football game. Right now, at quarterback, Bartkowski looks into the end zone. He's got the rifle arm, and he's got a man open for it. Jenkins lost the ball, but there's a penalty marker down.
Looks like it could be a defensive holding penalty.
If that be the case, and apparently it's going to be, it'll be another first down for the Atlanta Falcons.
I think Bill Thompson was doing all he could. He had his attention on who he was guarding. The ball was in the air, and I think a little contact took place.
You can tell where you are looking at the stands. In Denver, everybody's got on orange. In Atlanta, there's a lot of red on display. Now the ball is taken down.
Illegal contact. Number 36. Defense.
Let's see if we can find some. Bartkowski goes back. He's looking for one of the wide receivers on the left side. This penalty took place on the left. Jenkins had to move a little behind him, couldn't handle it. They're up at the ball on the 2.
Ball was against Bill Thompson. Now they go to the run, and again they try William Andrews. Let's see, might be a free football. Referee says no. It goes the other way. It'll stay with the Atlanta Falcons. Bronco defense so very tough. They held off Cincinnati in their opener on a goal line stand. Shut out the Bengals.
That's what's making it pretty impressive if you're an Atlanta fan. You know, they've moved it against 2 mediocre teams defensively. This is not a mediocre defense, and they've moved it pretty well.
They have indeed, and at the end of the first quarter, the score is the Denver Broncos 7, the Atlanta Falcons nothing, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station. We've got a good one going here at Atlanta. The Denver Broncos took the opening kickoff, marched 88 yards down the field. Their quarterback Norris Weiss took it into the end zone on a quarterback keep. And now the Falcons on their first possession are driving behind the right arm of Bartkowski. They have the ball 2 yards away from the Denver end zone. Second down and goal. Bubba Bean, he's not going to get there. Jackson comes up from the free safety, makes a big defensive play for Denver. Bernard Jackson, 29.
Offensively, Atlanta got tangled up at the line of scrimmage, could not get a guard pulled, couldn't get anybody outside. As you can see, just as Bean starts to turn to the outside, he's got no help. Bernard Jackson was not the only one out there to bring that ball carrier down. Gradishar is there most every time. On that occasion, he was very needed backup.
Hey, Gradishar is a great football player. You watch him he's in on every play. It's remarkable. 53. Now it is third and goal. Falcons want a TD, and Bartkowski throws, and he's got the touchdown. Into the end zone for the score, William Andrews.
It looked like an easy completion. Bartkowski made a good play to get rid of it, but it's something you don't teach a back like an Andrews. He comes up, they don't know how well he can play as a receiver. They found out very well. He only caught 3 balls, I think, in 2 years as a receiver down at Auburn. However, this ball he has to come back for. He's trying to get himself in the end zone. That is not just another play. Last week we saw the Raiders keep from scoring because their back couldn't handle it. He handles it. They brought the ball game into a knot.
Well, if the Booten bartender can convert this, we'll have a 7-7 knot on the board as there's 14-15 to play in the first half. Mazzetti, he's automatic. And so the Falcons have their first points up, and we are tied up. The Atlanta Falcons driving down the field. A payoff throw. Bartkowski to William Andrews. Will be back in a moment. The wind has started to gust down in Georgia now as the Atlanta Falcons kick the ball off. Here's Mazzetti into the football. Back deep. Otis Armstrong still holds a lot of Big Ten rushing records from Purdue. Switches fields, and let's see if he can beat the defense. He does. He turns the corner, and Otis Armstrong is out to the 28-yard line. Rickman and Dennis Pearson covering on the play for Atlanta. So now it'll be 1st and 10. Good football game so far, John.
Well, I'll tell you, Don, what's impressed me, and I mentioned it earlier, is I've never seen 2 offenses maintain ball control for over a quarter. This is the second quarter. It's the second possession for Atlanta. If it goes like this, we've got a game that nobody expected, and I have the feeling it might. There might be a lot more offense than we expected.
All right, here we go. 1st and 10. Denver Broncos ball just short of their 30-yard line. Norris Weiss is the quarterback, called his own number, took it into the end zone. Preston slides out. Up from the corner to make the tackle is Rollin Lawrence. You have to admire those cornerbacks. They're not big. They've got to come in and hit somebody.
This is a running back's dogma. I think he hurt his knee a bit. He's grabbing hold of it. That's Dave Preston starting for the... This is his first year really of full-time action in the NFL. He got off to an awfully fast start. They depend a lot on him. You mentioned they have a lot of running backs. I just hope it isn't too bad.
So, unfortunately, while Dave Preston is down, we have a break in the action, and we'll be back at Atlanta Stadium in a moment with the score Denver 7, Atlanta 7. NBC Sports at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. And tonight on NBC, it's Bob Hope on the Road, a 3-hour tape special in the People's Republic of China. Along with Bob, Crystal Gale, Shields and Yarnell. Big Bird from Sesame Street will be there, and others. That's from 8 to 11 tonight on NBC. I hope so. That was the first on the road show he's ever done that was really on the road. No studio work there.
That's a long way on the road.
It is now 2nd down and 5. Broncos come back with a counter play. The run doesn't get too much. They take it across the 35-yard line. Brazina and Pridemore were on the stop.
I think it might be important for the people in Denver to know they may not see David Preston anymore today. However, he did get up and walk off the field at a brisk pace, so we're hoping everything's looking up. Obviously, no injury to your knee is good, but let's hope it's very minor.
Boy, he's been some fine. You don't have to be a #1 draft choice to turn out to be a great player. Preston came in here looking for a job, and they love him. He's a money back. Catches the ball, blocks, 196 pounds. You don't play on Denver unless you block in the backfield. 1st down and 10 now for the Broncos. Game is tied 7-7. We're in the 2nd quarter. It's become a bit overcast. Winds died down somewhat. Norris Weiss is looking for the home run ball. Haven Moses has been around a long time, but he can still run and he can still catch, and he has the football down at the 10-yard line of Atlanta.
Excellent play by Moses, and I don't know if Norris Weiss threw it this way intentionally, but Moses is double covered. But Pridemore coming back on the inside really looks like he's in excellent position to make the play, but he let Moses go too far. Now he's got to turn his back to the ball. Lawrence and Pridemore are not anywhere near in the position Moses is. He comes up with an easy reception. It looks tough, but it really wasn't a very hard catch. Well thrown ball by Weiss.
Haven Moses in his 12th year as a professional, originally drafted by Buffalo. From San Diego State, and again the Broncos are threatening to score. This game is tied 7-all early in the 2nd period. Weiss, play faking. Loops it. Whoop, big guy couldn't get to the football. Riley Odoms looked at it, but almost alligator out of the
That's
ball.
the second time today. Odoms must figure he's snake bit, because earlier in the 1st quarter he had an angle on a defensive back with the whole field to work with, and Weiss overthrew him. That time, just a little piddle pass is all he had to do. Put it right over his head. Couldn't come down with it. That's as far in the clear as anybody's ever going to be.
Hoping it was a balloon with a string on it, just cruised overhead, so it would have been 6. Goes as an incomplete pass, and now it's 2nd down and 10. Actually, the Broncos could get another 1st down if they take it inside the 1. 7-7 game, 2nd quarter. Weiss goes to Rob Lytle, and Lytle takes a hard thump from Edgar Fields, number 77, breaks off it, and then Pennywell knocks him down. Scores starting to come in now from the 1 o'clock starts in the East. Philadelphia has gone out in front of the Saints on a Tony Franklin field goal at New Orleans. That game now in the 2nd quarter.
Baltimore is finally getting some points on the board. They got off fast last week, couldn't hold it against Tampa Bay. Cleveland's a good team to beat. Baltimore needs a win bad.
Cleveland comes in with 2 late wins, 2-0 on the season. Stan Jones, one of the defensive coaches, and Joel Collier going over their stuff on the sidelines. As right now it's going to be 3rd down and 7 for the 1st down, 3rd and 7.5 for a touchdown for Denver. Haven Moses in motion. Norris Weiss is looking at his tight end. He's going to go again, and it's almost picked off.
That was 6 points. There are some plays that look like they're going to be 6 points, but Frank Reed was in a position, if he just holds on to the ball, there is no one to catch him, because Odoms had already committed himself. Watch Weiss as he throws the ball. Reed played possum very well. It's a blitz. Everyone was picked up. Reed's playing Odom very tight, cuts in front perfectly, can't hold on to the ball. You can see Odoms has already committed himself down the field. He's no match. Ball game would have gone the other way. That's football.
There it is. It would have been the Hasta Luego shot, but Frank Reed couldn't hold on. So now Jim Turner will try to break the 7-7 tie with a field goal. Pumps into it. Let's see, looks like he's got it. The signal is good. So Jim Turner, a veteran of 16 National Football League seasons, hits a field goal that breaks the tie. And the Denver Broncos go out in front 10-7.
Marv Braden, I wonder what he's talking to Turner about. He's the special teams coach. He's got a good group, and that's been part of the success here in Denver.
So far, teams with great offenses. And again, it was supposed to be a hallmark defense game. Offense has been the key. Denver leads. Back in Atlanta, we watch a replay now of Jim Turner's field goal. Up, catches the inside
Way
of the
in.
upright.
Way in.
Never in doubt. So it's a 10-7 game, and so far, every possession has resulted in points. Denver's had 2, and they've scored twice. Touchdown and a field goal. Atlanta in their lone possession took it down the field 76 yards and scored in a Bartkowski throw to William Andrews. Here's Dennis Pearson up across the 10. Look out, look out, look out. Dennis Pearson turns across the 25. And finally, the pursuit comes over and hits him. Bernard Jackson, who makes a lot of hits for the Denver Broncos, made the play in special teams, starting free safety.
This is fun, Don. I didn't expect quite this much offense, but we're getting our share.
There's been an attrition of running backs on the Denver Bronco roster. You saw Dave Jensen go out. Dave Preston go out with a sprained knee. We're told Jensen's a little banged up. They don't expect Dave Preston back in this game. It's 1st and 10 now for Atlanta. The ball just across the 25-yard line of the Falcons. William Andrews gets the call, and he's out to the 29-yard line. Gradishar hit him 53. Gradishar's a big linebacker. Ohio State linebacker, 6'3", 233, and he's also one of the fastest players out there, 4.55, 40. Detroit needs some help.
And so do the Jets.
Well, I tell you, Jets got blown away last week 56-3. Here's Philadelphia leading New Orleans. Reminds you of Rick Venturi, the Northwestern coach. He said after he got blasted one day by Michigan, only difference between me and General Custer, he didn't have to watch the game films. Right now we have a 2nd down and 7 coming up. Bartkowski takes a look long, swings it out. Oh, the big guy almost had it. Chavis had his hands on the ball.
You know, a lot of times a quarterback won't give credit to the defensive lineman. He may see him there. A guy like Chavis, he's got his hands all taped up. It doesn't look like he can get out of his own way. At 6'6", you figure, hey, he can't be agile enough. I'll just throw it a little bit over the top of him. He can't handle that. Look at that move. Makes a beautiful move, spinning to the left. Couldn't quite find him. Finally got out of balance, but he did stop that play from going for quite a few yards.
Like a dancing bear going after that. And 3rd down comes up. 3rd down and 7 now. Big down for Bartkowski and the Falcons. Ball at their 28. Blitz is coming. Bartkowski stands in, throws hard, and again Wallace Francis catches the ball for a first down. What a pair of hands. He's a cruiser. He just...
You know, Don, yeah, I agree. It was a beautiful catch, and it was a beautiful throw. But what impresses me is the games that Denver played here trying to get to Bartkowski. Right. That's a very young offensive line. Pat Howell starting in his first game. There was not one slip up, gave Bartkowski plenty of time to fire the ball, and when he gets time, he's going to come out on top.
That's a very improved area of the Atlanta team. That's right, John. Under Bill Walsh, the Atlanta Falcons offensive line, Mike Ken and Warren Bryant, the tackles, 2 number 1s. Ken from Michigan, Bryant from Kentucky. Pat Howell, consensus All-American at USC last year, starting at right guard. Bartkowski looks over the middle, and Jensen again makes a big reception. Did that one with one hand and gets the ball out to midfield for a gain of 8.
When you look at a great back, you look at so many different features. I've seen William Andrews do 2 things today that indicate to me he has it all. Number 1, I've seen him hustle down the field to help a receiver trying to score a touchdown. I've seen him come up with 2 excellent catches. We're not even at halftime. He's run the ball for 19, only 20 yards. Even though he's only run the ball for 20 yards, he's been every bit as instrumental today as he was the previous 2 weeks in helping his club.
Bubba Bean couldn't make it on the infield. What you were mentioning earlier, John, about things showing up on the game fields, you picked that out where Andrews was downfield throwing a block. Andrews says one of the reasons he's playing so well, he said, off the preseason, Warren Bryant came up to him and said, you keep running the way you've been running, we're going to be in the playoffs. He said, if it means that much to the veterans that I can be that helpful to the team, he said, that really encouraged me. They think that much of me.
It's great to be humble, but it's better to be good.
Dave Preston will not be back in the game today, we're told. New England now leads Cincinnati 7-0. Grogan through to Stanley Morgan. Here comes William Andrews. He runs hard. And the Broncos, they have the big hitters, the Thunder's hitters.
But not big enough, Donnie. I do believe they picked up the first down. This crowd indicates the way they feel. This is only Atlanta's 2nd possession, and we've got 8 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. This is the sort of offensive line play that you need. We mentioned that Big Jim Mitchell is a great tight end. He's been playing well for years. He's gone unrecognized as far as the great ends are concerned because Atlanta hasn't had a great team. But early in his career, he was a great pass receiver. Now he can do it all.
So right now it is 1st and 10 for the Falcons. They trail in the game 10-7, 7:47 to play in the half. A penalty marker is thrown into the line of scrimmage as Andrews, with good acceleration, cuts back against the grain. He gets the ball down to the 42-yard line of Denver. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, a complete report on all the action of this third weekend of play. NFL 79 from NBC in New York. Ryan Gumbel and Mike Adamle standing by there. Here in Atlanta, Don Criqui with John Brody. 7 minutes, 41 seconds to play in the first half as a holding penalty is assessed against the Falcons.
Those are drive killers against a team with as fine a defense as Denver has. However, as effective as Bartkowski's been.
Holding number 57, offense.
Van Note, the center, got caught. Next Sunday, National Football League action continues, moving into the 4th week of this 1979 season. San Diego at New England, Houston at Cincinnati, Baltimore at Pittsburgh, Jets at Buffalo. Oakland at Kansas City, Seattle at Denver. All coming up next Sunday on NBC. And right now, Bartkowski stands in. He throws out. Andrews catches another one. They drove him 3 times, caught them all. This time he got back to the penalty yard.
That is so hard to be for a running back to be moving over the middle of the field, putting your attention only on the pass. All right, there's a lot of cats in that area that are going to see that they can put you to sleep if they can.
Right.
As he puts his attention on the ball, he grabs it, still has control enough to make a move on Gradishar. That doesn't happen very often. Picks up 12 yards, and they've got it back at least to where one throw will get him a first down.
Hey, when the quarterback lays it in there real soft over the middle, those are the kind the running backs like to throw back at him. Here a setup for the defense. Here is the throw, and it's Alfred Jenkins has the ball. Jenkins came back, took it away from a defender, and then turns downfield to the 30-yard line.
How sweet it is. Bartkowski's 7 for 8 against what many people think is the best defense in football. He's thrown now for close to 100 yards. This only being the 2nd possession. People have stated about Bartkowski that he's very self-critical. He's going to have very little to be critical about.
That's been one of his problems. He stays down on himself. If he has a bad game, he lets it affect his next game.
Well, there's an answer to that. Just have good games.
Well, he's been having them.
You bet.
Got one going here. It was a game that defenses were supposed to control, but the offenses have been the strong suit. Here is Andrews again over the middle. He beats the linebacker every time, and he beat a good one in Gradishar that time, and he gets the ball down inside the 25-yard line, a gain of 8.
Beautifully conceived. And you remember what you mentioned early in the ball game, the Lehman Bennett likes to pick one guy out, no matter who it is, and just keep going at it. And oftentimes it may be the strength of their defense. Today, that's the way it is. He's picking on Gradishar, throwing the ball, running the ball at him. There haven't been many surprises, and not many people have picked on Gradishar and come out with their teeth.
Right now, Atlanta keeps the drive going. They have a 2nd down and 8 coming up. The ball advanced inside the 25-yard line of Denver. 10-7 game, Denver in the orange with the lead. Here is Bubba Bean. He's a dancer, and he gets inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line. Bubba Bean, a former #1 out of the Texas A&M. He finally has the running threat next to him in the backfield, gives him a little help.
You can tell when those running backs are having fun. They're putting all their moves on as they get into the line of scrimmage. That time Bubba put about 3 little curves into that path and picked up the first.
So Denver scoring a touchdown and a field goal on its first 2 possessions, and now Atlanta with its 2nd possession driving down the field again. You'll recall the first time they had the ball, they went 76 yards to score a touchdown. First down and 10, Falcons, 17-yard line of Denver. 2nd quarter, 4:50 to play in the half. Draw play. They go to William Andrews, and he's knocked down as he bangs off one tackler and gets down to the 12. He got 5. One of these guys that gets yards, it doesn't look like there's anything there.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you why he got yards that time. It was a little draw play, and his offensive line had enough surge to get him past the line of scrimmage before he even got touched. Good offensive line play. I guess the people in Atlanta know what they're talking about.
Howell's a good one to watch at right guard, John. First-year player from Southern California, number 64. He's getting his first start. Big, 6'5", 255, and he is quick off the ball.
Bryant, Scott, Ken, they're all good, and they're all young.
William Andrews fouls Pat Howell straight ahead and drives the ball down inside the 10-yard line, down close to the 9. Joe Rizzo, 59, was on the stop. Those 4 Denver linebackers. Lehman Bennett said we're going against a 3-4 again this week. We did last Monday night, but Denver's got the best 3-4 around.
Well, you know, I've seen them play now for 6 years, but the past 2 years they have been so consistently outstanding against the run that you just don't expect somebody to move the ball on the ground against them. Atlanta not only is moving it, they're stuffing it right down the field.
Last season, Denver gave up only 21 touchdowns, the lowest total in the whole National Football League, and they gave up the second fewest points. Pittsburgh, the toughest team to score against. William Andrews, pitch back, and the Broncos are there, knock him down, no gain on the play. Line of scrimmage was the 8, and that's about where he got.
No place to go. I think he came up about a half a yard short. I do believe they're going to go for the field goal.
Radishar Jackson came across. Made the stop. Lehman Bennett came here from the Los Angeles Rams, where he was an assistant coach. And now Mazzetti comes out onto the field. Tim Mazzetti, who really helped turn this team around last year. He joined the Falcons in the season's 7th week. Atlanta was 2-4 at the time. And his points proved to be the difference in 5 regular season victories, as well as the wild card win over Philadelphia. He hit over 81% of his regular season field goals, 13 of 16. His 3rd best in the NFC. Mazzetti puts it up and good, and we've got another tie score on the board. It's now a 10-10 game with 2:39 left to play in the first half. So Tim Mazzetti, who his holder John James says loves pressure, gets the field goal and not enough. We'll be back in a moment. We're tied up again at 10-10. Don Criqui with John Brody. First half moving along quickly, 1:54 to play in it. Mazzetti hits a spinner downfield, will not carry deep. Chris Payne has the, as was Joel Williams. At Shea Stadium in New York, the Jets have now moved out in front of Detroit, 14-7 in the second quarter. New England and Cincinnati. New England unbeaten and Cincinnati yet to win. Kevin Long's run for the 2 Jet touchdowns. The Tony Franklin field goal still holding up in New Orleans. Here's another one now in. Jaworski just threw to Wilbert Montgomery. It's 10-0 Philadelphia. Baltimore continues to lead Cleveland 10-0. First down and 10, Denver Broncos. Weiss stands strong against the blitz and swings it out to Rob Lytle, who gets the ball out across the 35-yard line. They're going to rule he stepped out at the 33. Pennywell, the middle linebacker, picking him up as the first back out.
You're liable to see a little more of that when they find Pennywell trying to cover Lytle. If he comes from his middle linebacking position, trying to take the first back, the lead back out of the backfield, that ball may get to him several times before the afternoon's out. This Red Miller going, what's wrong, fellas? This never happened before. Reuben Carter not being able to play could be part of it.
They've been going at, that's right, Latimer, the middle guard.
Well, Don's doing a fine job, but there's only one Reuben Carter. He's something.
Built low to the ground, tough to move. Jim Jensen runs the ball and breaks into open field, and the big back from Iowa takes a couple guys with him inside the 40 and down to the 37-yard line. Big gainer by Jim Jensen, who's going to get a lot more playing time now that Preston's gone out.
I'll tell you, and that is the result of a very hard infield. Jim Jensen makes an excellent run. We used to play on this. We used to dread coming to Atlanta, having to play before baseball season was over on this infield, and they set him down in a rather hard fashion. As he hits the ground, his head hits. He's taking a pretty good lick. The ball leaves, and I just hope he's all right.
Gets down hard on that red Georgia clay, so we have a break in the action with the score tied 10-10. NBC Sports covers the action as the pennant races move into the final weeks. One of the officials as the Denver Broncos off the big run by Jensen. 2-minute warning has been given. We have 1:58 to play in the first half.
And Atlanta's only had their hands on the ball twice.
Rogan threw for the touchdown to Stanley Morgan as the Patriots move in front of winless Cincinnati 7-0. How about Pittsburgh, John, the way they've started off?
Well, Pittsburgh started off the way everyone expected them to, and I think it's indicative. They've had a few people injured throughout the year, and the year is still early, but they seem to be able to handle it. They just keep coming on. Bradshaw's continuing to play the way he left off last year, and Cleveland got 3 points as Baltimore's lead is cut to 7, but But to me, if somebody's going to beat Pittsburgh, they're going to have to come up and play at their level. Pittsburgh's not coming down.
We'll be back to the Denver-Atlanta game here at Fulton County Stadium in a moment. Back live to the action now at Atlanta. The Denver Broncos break the huddle. They have the ball 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line of Atlanta. The game is tied 10-10. We have 2 minutes to play in the first half. Rob Lytle and John Keyworth the setbacks for Denver. Haven Moses throws a changeup, but Rick Bias, cornerback covering him, coming back in motion. Swing goes out to Haven Moses. Wide receiver screen. They got blockers in front, and Moses inside the 30 and steps out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Well-conceived play.
You bet. And Paul Howard made it happen. Jeff Yates was in pursuit, trying to get a piece of Moses. As he did so, Howard just picked him up, kept running him right out of bounds. They've had a lot of well-conceived plays. There have been no fumbles, no interceptions, and no punts. This is the 3rd time that Denver's had the ball. They scored their first 2. Atlanta has scored both times they've had the ball. There just haven't been any mistakes, and both these teams depend on mistakes to get a lead.
John, I'd venture to say that the Broncos have used more different plays in this one game than they did in their first 2 against Cincinnati and Los Angeles. They were very conservative in those games.
That's what it looks like anyway.
They've really opened up the offense, a lot of diverse quarterback play faking, and now the give goes to Otis Armstrong. He takes a lick as he gets inside the 30. Jeff Yates got him, and Yates is slow getting up. Right now, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KOA TV for Denver.
We expected a hard-hitting game because these teams play the aggressive, physical, gang-tackling defense. We've seen some players go down already as Jeff Yates is now slow getting up. Know what he's like, though. He won't be out long.
But he's out now, and
right now he's rethinking his priorities. Is this the right place to be? From Boston College, came here, moved in for Claude Humphrey. You see 1:40 left to play in the second quarter here at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. The game is tied 10-10. The Denver Broncos with the ball. 1st and 10. 26-yard line of Atlanta. Weiss in the flat. Man is there. Rick Upchurch. One-on-one. And Rollin Lawrence is going to get a flag if he doesn't hold off.
Look out, Rollin. It's a bit frustrating when the personality of your defensive group is one that likes to safety blitz a lot. It's very hard on cornerbacks. Now here they come. You can see everybody's coming, trying to get to the quarterback to create something. However, we saw it at the line of scrimmage in plenty of time. Lawrence has to play off and inside. That's the style of their defense. It just allows Upchurch with a lot of room, and I think if you give it to him 3 or 4 times out there, he's going to break at least one of them.
Atlanta's a team that knows how to win late. They've done that this season. Beat New Orleans in overtime in their opener 40-34. Beat the Eagles coming from behind late in the 4th quarter last Monday night. Last season, they won 6 of their 9 victories in the regular season in the last 2 minutes. Twice in the last play of the game.
It's becoming a situation where people expect it, and that is dangerous, because if the players ever start relying on it, they're going to get run out of town. They haven't as of yet. I'm very impressed that they've come on and played as well as they have so far today.
Report from the sideline. Jeff Yates is okay briefly. He'll be out, but he's coming back into the football game. Shaken up. 1st and 10 now, Denver. Weiss has time. Not very long. There's a free football. Lytle picked it up for the Denver Broncos, but there's a loss on the play. Now, as Weiss, confident in his pass blocking, stood in there, and all of a sudden Edgar Fields got all of them.
Well, Edgar Fields made an excellent play. Had to get around 2 people. Lytle got caught up in the wash inside and happened to turn around to see Weiss. You'll be able to look. See, Lytle's looking for somebody, but Fields is already around on the outside. He could have gone outside and helped. He didn't, so he knew to look to Weiss because he knows he's in trouble. The ball comes out, and he was able to fall on it.
So the loss is back now to the 23-yard line. Weiss looks in the flat. Now he's got a run, and the Falcons are there again. Don Smith lost him, but then another Falcon comes up and puts that bazooka shot on him. Don Smith, the rookie end, got him and lost him, and then Kuykendall hit him.
Donnie, this is something that you very rarely see. Weiss is thrown around by Smith, who's come on. Last week was his first start. He's come on fast, throws him down against his leg, so he really didn't get up after he was down. Had someone else not been alert, pulled him down. Kuykendall was the man that got him on the second effort. He'd have been off and running.
So now Denver wants to talk this over as Norris Weiss on consecutive plays looks to fire but falls back. The ball is set back now to 29.
Not a bad idea, because Atlanta's pass rush on the last 2 plays has improved drastically. All the quarterbacks are in the meetings. They have a lot of input in the game plan. The man in the back, Babe Parilli, is the quarterback coach, has a lot to do with what plays go in and when they are called. He feels that all 3 of these quarterbacks are excellent, that they all have their own dimension. Penrose, you remember, started last year a couple ball games, and they feel that in the future he's going to be a lot like Morton has been for them over the years. And this guy is getting it done in between.
He's an interesting story. Norris Weiss was drafted 4th by the LA Rams back in '75. They were going to make him a defensive back, so he went to the World Football League to be a quarterback. Came to Denver as a free agent and finally starting. He's also a CPA. He can do your taxes for you.
3rd and 12.
Net
24.
Falcons might have the ball. They're getting tough now. Falcon defense getting ornery, and these fans loving it. Mike Lewis was in there, number 69, to make the big play, and the Falcons take over the ball at their 31-yard line.
That is in 2 weeks, that's about the 6th time I've seen a problem between center and quarterback. Last week, Fouts and Stabler both dropped 2 balls from their center. You can go a year or 2 without having that happen. It happened this time at a very critical time. Now we'll take a look, see the action. Here's Don Smith. We mentioned Pat Howell picking up blitzes. Rookie from Southern California makes a fine play out of a difficult situation. Excuse me, that was Bill Bryan.
Was your basic Rocky Marciano 6-inch shot to the jaw, the KO punch. Here is Bartkowski looking to gun it. His time is a factor now, and there is Wallace Francis as he just takes the defense deep, cuts back down the near sideline. Alfred Jenkins getting the reception, and the ball is ahead for a first down, but there is 23 seconds showing on the clock.
I don't know if the addition of a William Andrews can make receivers run better patterns, and I haven't had a chance to take a look at Atlanta's offense a lot in the past couple of years, but somebody is doing a lot with their passing game, because those receivers are running excellent patterns, and Bartkowski knows right where they're going to be, and it makes it a lot easier to hit them.
And they're starting to keep those linebackers in the middle, because that's where Andrews has been catching it. Bartkowski looks, he's got to hurry, and not going to get there. He eludes one man, gets away from John Grant, and throws it downfield. Here's a penalty marker down. Pass interference call with 14 seconds to play in the first half. The call will go against Denver. It'll be a first down at the point of infraction for Atlanta.
His intended receiver was Dennis Pearson, but that play was made possible by Bartkowski. He was handled a couple times. I don't know what's going on here, but these guys seem to think they can play a whole lot better than they seem to think they could play in the past. If it's William Andrews' addition, fine. Whatever it is, everybody's doing a little something extra.
Pass interference, number 43, defense.
So the pass interference call against the Denver Broncos. Steve Foley, a cornerback, was called for it. And the ball is now down to the 47-yard line of Denver. So let's see what Bartkowski can do with but 14 seconds on the second quarter clock. 9 of 11, as you see.
That's what it says, but he's only 9 of 10.
It's only 90%. Here we go now as Bartkowski takes a deep drop. He's going to throw the home run ball. They've got that big bend play. He's got a man open. Then it's Pearson, and he's not done. Pearson's down inside the 30, and the Falcons signal for and are allowed a timeout. And the clock shows 2 seconds to play. The master mixologist comes out. Mazzetti.
They've got a chance. I mean, the man's done everything you could ask of him in a half of football. I wonder the last time anybody completed 10 out of 11 passes against Denver's defense, especially for over 120 yards. He's got about 140 yards in the first half of play, only 3 possessions. Each team has moved the ball every time they've gotten it. The receivers are running their patterns beautifully. The offensive line is doing their job. It's just a joy to watch.
Well, Bartkowski's had his problems here in Atlanta. Missed 21 of his first 42 games the first 3 seasons because of injuries. Keeps this up, they're going to send him off to Canton one of these years. He's confident now. He realizes he can't do it all by himself, and he can't just throw the ball into coverages. Got a gun of an arm, but now he's finesses the ball, and he's been superior here today as he's taken Atlanta down the field. The game is tied at 10 with 2 seconds left to play in the first half. And of course, when the half ends, we'll be going to New York. Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamley standing by for an update on NFL 79, all the games around the league. And this is the third weekend of action. Here's Mazzetti. Going to be a long one. They'll hold at the 37, a 47-yard attempt. Apparently Denver wants him to think about it. It's like the Broncos might be calling a timeout. How would you describe the personnel of a halfback? How about a wide receiver? Set down's good. He kicked that right into somebody's belt buckle, and so the first half will end in a tie.
Hang in there, Mazzetti.
He got the football back, but the half ended. Here we go again, John.
We can see just how much of a crowd that ball will attract. Tim kicks it a little bit low. I can't tell if the hole was where, but that ball was just about waist high. He has not been real effective once you get that ball outside the 40-yard line. That time he did not get it over the center. The score is 10-10 at halftime, and that's the way it ought to be, Don.
Hey, it's been fun. NFL 79 is coming up, and then we'll be back with what should be an excellent second half from Atlanta. And he's across the 20, across the 30, and Dennis Pearson is finally knocked down at the 33-yard line. And again, Bernard Jackson made the play on special teams. Here we go again now, John.
It's the second big play that Pearson has made. He did the same thing on a previous kickoff. When you get good blocking up front like he had, he can find a lane. Once you've found a lane, you put the problem on the defense. They did just that, have it in good field position, and let's see if Bartkowski can move that little Hummer again.
Pearson averaged over almost 28 yards a return last season as a rookie on kickoff returns. He can break the big play, and right now he gives Bartkowski in the offense good position. They go right to Andrews, and he tries the left side of the Denver defense. Chavis, a 7-year veteran from South Carolina. South Carolina State made the knockdown at the 35-yard line. Across the defensive front of the Denver Broncos as you look at them. Chavis, 79 is the left end. Latimer, 79 is starting at 72 is starting at middle guard, replacing Reuben Carter, who's hurt. Bryson Manor, the right end. Swenson, Rizzo, Gradishar, and Evans back the line. Pro Bowl quality linebacker Tom Jackson is hurt. He is doubtful to play at all today. He is in uniform. Right back to the run go the Falcons. They'll have third and short now as we see Gradishar fill and make the stop at 4 yards downfield.
Very seldom do you see two plays that look like they're stopped at the line of scrimmage pick up 7.5 yards. It means the offensive line is pushing people back. Look at Gradishar trying to get over bodies, get to the ball carrier. Generally, he's meeting people at the line of scrimmage. Now he's just kind of, right now, he's not winning the game up front.
And right now the ball is advanced almost to the 40-yard line of Atlanta. Falcons send wide receivers to the left side now. Alfred Jenkins, so lithe and quick, is way out to the left in the slot, as well as Francis. Bartkowski takes a look at them. He's looking deep. He's going to gun the ball long, and he can do that. Francis is out there, and so is the defense. Lewis Wright. They don't try him often. He's that good. Lewis Wright has a vertical leap almost as high as David Thompson's.
You've got a, as we mentioned, you've got a flag down on the play. We don't quite know what it is. We will in a bit, but whether there's a penalty or not, when you give Lewis Wright a responsibility of covering a Francis all over the field, you've put a lot of responsibility on one man. He's one of the few people in the NFL that is up to the task. He and Jimmy Johnson.
Interference on the offense is that initial signal. Jerry Seaman. Lewis Wright is an athlete. Runs the 109.4. He's run the 220 in under 21 seconds. Jumps to the moon.
I think we can safely assume we'll get it now.
Offense. Illegal motion. Number 66. Offense. Pass interference. Number 86. Offense. Decline.
And John James is going to get a chance to play. This is the first punt of the day.
And downfield, John, Rick Upchurch was clapping his hands inside the 20. He's glad to get a chance now to punt. This is where it's at for Rick Upchurch, running those punts back. James doesn't usually give you much to return, though. He kicks it very high, and they've got the speed to get down under it. Big rush. He gets off a high punt. Upchurch signaling for it. He's going to run it back at his 15. There goes, oh man, so many tough pulls. Rick Upchurch crosses the 20-yard line, took a letter high hit, was knocked down there, and the Denver Broncos will go on offense, 1st and 10. Bob Glazebrook, number 36, was on the stop.
He's a big kid. They've got him playing defensive back, a little bit of linebacker. He's right in between. Primarily, he's outstanding on special teams. You look at the hit he puts on Upchurch. Not only does he hit him a lick, he holds on. Not many people can do that.
So the line of scrimmage will be the 23. Now we'll take a look at the Denver Bronco offense. Norris Weiss has gone the distance at quarterback. He scored the only touchdown in this game for the Broncos on a keeper. Rob Lytle, 41's in the backfield. The Broncos lost for this day. Dave Preston, a starting running back, went out with a sprained knee. Jim Jensen, number 30, that big fullback from Iowa, is in the starting lineup now as we open the second half. Riley Odoms, 88, will be the tight end. They alternate wide receivers. Upchurch will be in there along with Haven Moses. Jack Dolbin, 82, will come in with plays and alternate plays. Upchurch will be in on 1st and 3rd downs. Ball at the 23-yard line. It is a 10-10 game in the 3rd quarter. Don Criqui with John Brody from Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. Haven Moses comes out wide to the right. Upchurch is on the left flank. Pump fake, and Weiss is going to call his own number. Whoa, he just lateraled the ball out. Put it up for grabs. Russell Erxleben of New Orleans did that the opening week against Atlanta, and that was the football game. Mayberry ran it in.
that was very suspect right there. Had he not had an excellent relationship with Lytle, he probably knew it was Rob, knew that he was looking for it, and he tried to make a big play out of a bad one. You don't want to do that too often. If you get by a couple times, you've taken your chance and come out on top and let it lie.
John, you played 17 years at San Francisco, 17 seasons. I want to ask you if you think the nuances in the way people play quarterback now has changed much. It's 2nd down and 6 coming up for Denver. They go up the middle of Rob Lytle, and he works hard behind some big linemen, but doesn't get too far. Got the ball about to the 30. Bring up 3rd down. Has quarterback changed?
Well, yeah, I think it has by the hash mark alignments. Personally, I've said that for a long time, and it would take me about half an hour to explain all the reasons why. But the number one reason to me is that right now offenses are being dictated to by the defenses. It used to be with a wide hash mark, you could dictate to a defense what they had to play in order to stop what you wanted to do offensively. And I think it's made for a lot of what you're seeing right now. Norris Weiss going over to the sideline, find out from the coach what we want to call. Do you follow me? Used to be handled on the playing field. And to me, if you can do offensively what you like to because of the hash mark structure, you force the defense to do what you want. You don't necessitate all this stuff.
Well, we'll return to live action. Denver will have the football with a score tied 10-10. Big Bird from Sesame Street and others. That's from 8 to 11 tonight on NBC. Bob Hope on the road to China. Denver Broncos have the ball, 3rd down and 2 here at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. Game tied 10-10 in the 3rd quarter. Double reverse, and that one didn't work. Riley Odoms got the ball, coming on a tight end around. Colton Kuykendall was there before the ball got to Odoms.
Well, he just ran into the play. It was a short yardage situation. He's getting good penetration. You'll notice he doesn't have any idea that Odoms coming across, but whoops, better get that big fella before he gets up and runs with it. Weiss got stumbled up. They just had a little miscommunication. Roland Lawrence was actually responsible for forcing it in.
Dennis Pearson's now back as Luke Trustridge, a rookie from Baylor, punts the ball. Big guy, 6'4", 235. And Dennis Pearson sees a way. Look at that special teams coverage by Denver. Had them all down there, and the ball is down to the 35-yard line. Good field position, and Bartkowski and the offense go out as Pearson comes off. So right now, with 11 minutes and 12 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter, the score remains 10-10. Atlanta gets its 2nd possession now of the 3rd quarter.
NFL, we've got a full slate of action also. The New York Jets on 2 Kevin Long touchdown runs lead the Detroit Lions 14-7. That's in the 2nd quarter.
We'll be checking more scores after this play now, opening play on this sequence for Atlanta. 1st down and 10 for Bartkowski and the offense at their 35. Game tied 10-10. Let her rip in the flat. He goes. Tight end has it. Mitchell, he's strong, comes swinging out. Big Jim Mitchell from Prairie View, now in his 11th year, 6'1", 238 pounds. New England leading Cincinnati 7-0. An injury development of some importance in that game. The quarterback of the Bengals, Ken Anderson, went down, and now the #1 draft choice, the rookie from Washington State, the throw-in Samoan Jack Thompson's in for Cincinnati. Philadelphia leading New Orleans.
Philadelphia's leading New Orleans. Archie Manning just got the score a little bit closer at 13-7. Baltimore still got a lead over Cleveland 10-3.
2nd down and 6 now for Atlanta. William Andrews, and shooting the gap, making the big play on defense, was Larry Evans. Starting for Tom Jackson, Evans keying on number 31, makes the hit behind the line.
Look at this one.
Yes, surprise. Minnesota leading Miami. The Dolphins have won their first 2 games, have not peaked though. They were sputtering a little bit last week, beating Seattle. A lot of penalties you don't usually see in a Miami team. Green Bay leading Tampa Bay 3-0. Houston over Kansas City 7-6. Earl Campbell ran for the Oilers touchdown. 3rd down and almost 10 now for Bartkowski in the offense. Wynn kicking up again. Deep drop, gets rid of it. William Andrews is there. Is he a football player or what? Not quite there for the 1st down though. He's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 44. Evans covered him.
Mark up 1 for the defense on that play. He wanted to go down the field to his wide receiver. Actually, Andrews ran a good pattern. He came off to him hoping he could pick up the extra 3 or 4 yards, but very seldom when you lay off to a back with more than 6 or 7 yards to go do you get the 1st down.
John James standing back inside the 30 of the 28 now, ready for his 2nd punt. And Upchurch standing alone back at his 20. They leave Upchurch all alone down there. See if they set up a coverage or try to rush James. They're coming at James, 2 wide men. James gets it away quickly. It's a good one. Upchurch will field it though and won't go anywhere.
Y'all be careful down there.
Paul Rising, number 53, was there right when the ball came in. 36-yard punt, and that's net yardage. As it turns out, there's no return.
We've heard so much about Tim Moriarty. People have said, you know, he only runs the 40 and 5 flat, but he's always down first on special teams. We've seen a lot of pals trying to get his crown.
That's right. We'll be back at Atlanta in a moment with a score tied 10-10.